And then did you get the pleasure inserting the penis as well?
No, I'm terrified about that.
Thank you very much for joining us for one more round, and welcome back to another episode of Film Club. I'm one of your hosts, Andy Harrison, and terrified penises to my right, as always, Annie Donaldson.
Yeah, contextually, we should really explain that, but I don't want to.
Every single week in Film Club, we invite you at home along to explore the history of cinema with us and uncover one of its gems. What's wrong with your face?
I'm thinking about this intro. It's nice.
Oh, thanks. I don't uncover one of its gems with us, and we're going to sit down and talk about it. Andy, what are we doing this week?
500 Days of Summer.
That was out of sync last week.
Fuck you.
I had it in sync. I don't know what I did.
What do you mean?
I took that because I had the drum roll
right, did you?
in sync, and I knocked it out of sync. Don't know what I did.
Well, you could copy and paste it and like merge them together and like do a crossfade to make it last that long. So let's say I do it for that. Point is,
this week,
500 Days of Summer. It's about film. It's a film about a girl.
Go on. It's a film about a girl.
It's a guy, and his approach to women, he wants to go through life, and he says he can't really live life without meeting the one. And then he meets Summer, who he thinks is the one. He says at the very start of the film, goes, and that was a day I knew it was her. And it's about the 500 days that he kind of takes to get to know Summer, be with her, and then ultimately end with her and get over her. And fuck, you know, it's a good film.
It's great, isn't it?
I'm glad we did this.
Yeah, I am. It's 500 Days of Summer for me. I don't know why, but I always see it as a mark of when I really started to get interested in indie film.
I think that's, yeah, okay, I'll get you there, yeah.
And that sounds quite late,
I was going
probably
to say,
to a lot of
it
people.
seems to me like maybe a couple of years out for me, but yeah.
I think before maybe I'd seen other films that were indie but didn't really think of them as being indie films.
So is it
This is one where I was like, I knew it was indie film. I knew that going into it, I didn't recognise Joseph Gordon-Levitt at the time, didn't recognise
Really?
Zooey Deschanel at the time.
Do you know,
Didn't really, like, the director was no one who I'd heard of before.
Zooey Deschanel at the time as well.
I'd probably seen her in, like, I don't want to say Elf and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
like, I would never have seen her and gone, that's Zooey Deschanel. Whereas, like, now you see her and you go, that's Zooey Deschanel.
Good point. I think for me it had to be Zooey Deschanel. My first moment I truly realised how amazingly beautiful she was an indie film. This is probably that time I got into indie films. I saw Flaked. If you haven't seen it, it's fucking awesome.
Not the TV show.
No, I'm sure it's this film called Flaked. I could be wrong. If you're wrong, then take the piss on me there. It's about them that work in a cereal shop, a shop that sells cereal. It's like,
All right.
It's done like things down London now. There's like a crisp sandwich shop and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
it was basically off a film where they're all like your favourite cereals, hard to get ones, and they go and you buy a bowl of cereal. And it was actually really cool. Anyway, it's a really indie film, and I implore you to watch it. It's good. So, going on to the thing of indie, this is your first experience with indie, and to be honest, yeah.
Saying that, I'm thinking about that statement now. I'm thinking that's probably full of shit. It's probably not my first.
I think it's quite late.
I think
if you don't mind me saying that.
I think what this is actually is at the time this coming out. I want to read that. At the time it's coming out, I was watching everything that came out at the time, and like we were watching everything that was coming out. I think we had like Cinema Card, and we were seeing everything that was coming out. So I was like entrenched in a shit ton of Hollywood, and this was just like a big breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
This was I think like this was a staple thing that said like, hey, all that stuff you've been watching that's been quite samey and quite like similar and has very like similar themes and it presents itself all the same way. This doesn't.
I think for me, this could be a controversial comment because I'm not as clued up into the past of the history of cinema as you. But for me, it feels like kind of our generation sort of thing. This feels like going to like somewhere like, I know they're quite political and stuff like Academy Awards. You have films like 500 Days of Summer that truly have an entry into these places. And they might be like loads in the past where they've been indie films and they're going stuff like that. I'm probably forgetting like major films that I've seen as like iconic back then that were indie films at the time. Like they might, let's say I'm not using it as an example, a New Hope at the time could have been like an indie film. I know it probably well, it isn't, but like because obviously the cult status behind it, it's not. What I'm trying to say is 500 Days of Summer when it came out, it was an indie film and yet it was like, fucking hell, this is awesome. It blew away like all the other big Hollywood films are, blockbuster films are that, yeah. And maybe it's like the first time people actually like...
Did it for like awards and stuff?
I don't know.
Or did it just come out and do well? Because surely this can't have picked up
It must
a
have
lot.
won. No, it must have got awards for like script and stuff.
Look it up, motherfucker.
I will. So yeah, that, like, where do we start in terms of how good it is? I've got a few things here, and like my little things here.
I want to start actually with casting.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, I'm glad.
Because this is a huge element to this film.
Yeah.
And actually, you were just showing me some stuff like a few minutes ago about how, like, basically, which summarized how much of an excellent job this does. What you were showing me was a video between
Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zooey Deschanel.
Zooey Deschanel, who this is like, if I remember right, that stuff's made about 5 years ago now.
Well, they're really good friends. It's 2011.
They're great friends.
That video was uploaded on YouTube 2011.
And that was made, obviously, after 500 Days of Summer.
Was it?
Was it not?
When's 500 Days? So that's 2009, yeah. But they've got a really good friendship.
Wasn't it this film where they started to get...
It could well have been. I think it might have been before, but
Unless I'm making
it could well have been this film because obviously there's a lot of music in this film. They're both heavily music orientated, so...
And like, just what a great job of casting. The reason these guys bounce off each other as well, because you can feel that real chemistry. You can feel like they've got a real sort of kindred spirit between the two of them.
I think that's one of the strongest points of the film, just how well these two are together.
They're totally individual, defined characters, but they definitely come together to make an interesting couple that you root for, you appreciate both sides, and still you can understand at the end when they don't have to be together.
Yeah.
You understand why that's the case, and you're okay with it.
I think you're right. In terms of awards, it didn't win any of the major ones, but it was definitely nominated. What? Why?
It came out, it dominated every film that year.
No, like, I'm not saying it dominated every film that year. It felt for me like it did.
What year? 2008?
2009.
Oh, and what came out 2009?
Point is, yeah. So it was great. Now, I think like part of that, how do we go into this? Part of that, the great casting. Like, who chooses that? Do you reckon it was the director that had a made?
It'll be somewhere between
a casting agent.
Just to let you know, films that came out in 2009: Inglourious Bastards, 2009, District 9, The Hangover, Watchmen, Fantastic Mr. Fox. So the casting will be somewhere between the casting director and the director themselves as well.
Marc Webb.
Marc Webb.
His first film, debut.
Yep, his first feature film at least.
First feature film. I think it was, because he did before. I was checking him out and I was thinking, who is Marc Webb?
And he was a no one at this point.
Well, yeah. All he did before, music videos, he did Ocean Avenue, the music video for Ocean Avenue.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I was like doing some research earlier today. Aye. And he did, Give You Hell, All American Rejects. Remember the picket fence and all that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you remember that? Yeah, so he directed that. He's done a few like kind of punk rock stuff. So he's got like the whole
really
LSD.
strange.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. So I was watching all this and then I was thinking, oh, fuck. Then he went on to do Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. And then he's doing one that's coming out this year with Chris Evans called, it's with a little girl. Fuck.
I don't know. I don't think I know what this was.
What do you mean?
I don't think I knew he was... Obviously, I was aware he was making something, but I didn't know what it was.
It's called Gifted.
Gifted.
Yeah, it's Chris Evans and a young girl. It's about a gifted young girl. And I've seen a couple of things, not like necessarily the trailer for it, but I saw like a post and I thought, you know what, actually, the general premise of the film looks really good. It sounds really good.
Cool. And like, for this, because that's a big jump to go from music videos, you do one film, next film is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's a huge deal for anybody.
And Spider-Man for him is a big deal.
Well, for the world over, like, if you're a director, you probably can't be handed a bigger character to be like, in terms of keys to a franchise.
Arguably the biggest comic book character.
Outside of being given,
Iron Man.
like...
Because Iron Man, what made Iron Man big, isn't it?
Yeah, but even now I'd say people would probably put Spider-Man as a sellable character, the one that's going to bring in more butts to seats, get more ticket sales up. Spider-Man's going to sell more than Iron Man still. Yeah. So like to go from one film to that is crazy. But you look at the film that actually was that stepping stone for him, 500 Days of Summer, and it's exquisite. It's not only just exquisite, it's exquisite in a way that says, this is exquisite because of the director behind it.
It's got so much of his personality in his film.
Because he could have told this story like anyone else did. He could have told like the basic love story of boy meets girl, problematic relationship, ends like this, but instead he broke it up.
Yeah.
And the big thing this film has...
non-linear narrative.
Is a non-linear narrative. It's out of chronological order.
Awesome.
It is not... Well, it's primarily told in a chronological order, but it jumps around as well.
It's got that lovely like title screen where it goes to the next number or back.
Yeah.
And it's just fucking awesome stuff like that.
And he uses that. He uses it not only as a narrative device, not only as a quirky gimmick, but he also uses it for humour.
He does, yeah.
There's a lot of times
when he's waking up with the JD and stuff like that, it's 41.5 or 341.5.
Exactly, yeah.
342. No, it's brilliant. He also uses it a really good way to transition from one phase to another. There's a really good scene where he's going into the elevator and he's having the day of his life.
That's great.
And then he goes in a few like 100 or so days down the past, and he comes out of the elevator looking the worst. And the colour is different, is that right? It's blues when he's feeling depressed.
Yeah.
It's orangey kind of stuff when he's feeling happy.
Yeah.
I think there's so much of his personality in his film. I had something here as well. The little kind of snippets, the little aspect ratios of like the little bits of film that he has.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of like Super 8 stuff in here, which looks amazing.
It
like
really
all
does.
the opening credits where it's like them as
Oh,
kids.
the kids, yeah.
Which is great. And then it comes in again later on.
Where it's them chilling out or something. It's like a montage.
Them chilling out. And there's some of the stuff like it's telling you about Zooey Deschanel's character. And
oh, yes, it is,
like
yeah.
she's riding the bike and stuff. And like that's all in Super 8. And
that's really cool, that part.
it's great.
Which has a narrator, and he has a narrator as well. And the narrator's fucking... Who narrates this film?
No idea.
The narrator is absolutely spot on. And I just look, he's got that kind of like warmth and yet like kind of almost a bit quirkiness to his voice.
Morgan
like,
Freeman.
No, it won't be, will it?
It's David Attenborough.
Fuck you, mate, with all these shades and stuff like that.
So that's one element.
Richard
yeah.
McGonagall.
Professor McGonagall. So he uses not only that as a way of changing the format,
Yeah.
but then he also looks at
he
it.
did Sully in Uncharted. Sully in Uncharted voiced this, narrator.
Oh, I can kind of
yes,
see
Sully,
that now.
get in, man.
So not only does he use that as one way of playing with the format, it feels like he also looks at the film and goes, how else can we play with this? And there's basically anything you could find to deliver this story in the most unique way possible, he kind of threw in.
Yeah.
And the stuff like you were just talking about there, that bit where he transitions the elevator, what comes before that is that whole dance number.
Oh, that was awesome.
Where they've just slept together for the first time. And he's like dancing down the street and the whole street's like joining in.
That was sensational. It reminded me of, what's that film that we went around Gosling and Emma Stone, that LA?
La La Land.
La La Land, sorry. It reminded me of the intro to La La Land.
Yeah.
Or at least the intro to La La Land then reminded me of that scene.
Yeah.
It's superb. It's such a out the thing, and you start realising you're watching a film again, and then you like and you go back in. It's really well
adding
played.
on to that, there's then the bit like where I think he's left her apartment, and then suddenly it turns to like an animated thing. It's like, it looks like a sketch drawing. It's like
that was awesome when he's leaving, and it's all like quite sad.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on to that in a second, mate.
You go on
because honestly, I'd like to finish with just this. Anyway, I have an idea.
Oh.
You're absolutely right, and he looks at the different ways he can go about this film, approach this film. I'd really like to point out, like we're going on this film, like the script is amazing, but I'd really like to point out how fucking intensely good the editing is.
Yeah.
Because we kind of briefly touch upon like how he tries to make a thing with the, he makes a joke out of the days goes cross, but I think just to touch on it, won't give it enough credit. The editing in this film, I don't know as much as you, but for me, I was just like, the way he's like gone from there to there, like the elevator scene, stuff like that, I just think that it reminded me of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. And do you remember I was going about that scene where he's come down the stairs and he's talking, he's going from one to the other?
Yeah.
It has a fluidity that Scott Pilgrim had in this film. And I think, like, I was watching it, I was getting so excited, like, oh, I kind of know what's happening inside, but like, I'm really enjoying this.
It's definitely got a similar sort of editing style in that, like, there's a lot of energy and a lot of enthusiasm coming through the way in which the film is put together.
Yeah.
Which isn't often seen. It's so lovely to see that.
It's really, so, oh man, Marc Webb. And who was the editor? Do you know the editor? I'll try and find the editor.
Steve Carell.
You're a fucking tart, mate. I swear down.
Little tip of the hat. I know we've gone past casting, but actually, just while you're looking that up,
Alan Edward Bell, well played.
Chloe Grace Moretz.
I know, right? Yeah, fucking hell. She's like there.
Yeah.
And she says
basically
pussy. No wonder they've got to like kick ass and she's saying fuck this and fuck that.
She's basically the actress that made a career, in fact, out of the fact that she was a kid that swore.
Yeah, it's class. So it was really weird. It's weird to see her as, like, I'm starting to appreciate people who grew up, like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Ryan Gosling. They're like kid actors who, have gone out and been out there. Christian Bale was one as well. We're seeing people like Chloe Grace Moretz. I think Dakota Fanning's one. Is it Dakota Fanning? I can't remember.
Idea.
It was one of the third series of Skin. You're a weirdo. And seeing her progress from like this, like maybe like one of her first major roles, and then she does some like Kick-Ass, and then she's out in that Bad Neighbours 2. She's in the remake of the Stephen King film Carrie, and it's like. You literally seen her grow up, a bit like Boyhood, but you're doing it in like different films. And yes, she swears. And it's really funny when you have that opening scene and you see her coming in the bank and saying, oh, shit's about to kick off. You come in, and you think, you know, I don't think you've been introduced to Zoe yet. Summer yet.
No, I don't think you have.
And you think, oh, this might be, and she turns up, she's fucking ear big. It's like, he's just there whacking plates. She's going like this, and she goes, Tom, what's up, or something like that.
But again, that charm comes from the fact that the Marc Webb had the balls to tell this story in a non-linear fashion,
and
to open the film
with
like,
it. He
opens basically by revealing his hand straight away. Like most directors would be like, we're going to tell this story about like, will they, won't they? And then at the end, you're going to build to a climax where like, are they going to be together? They're not going to be together. Right out the gate, Marc Webb's like, oh, he's going to fall in love with that girl. He's going to get his heart broken. They're not going to be together. Let's find out how that happens.
Yeah, it's really well done for that. One of the things I really love about this film, and I didn't need to watch it again to realise this, was the music.
Yeah.
This has a fucking soundtrack and a half. A soundtrack and a half. And the only downfall, and it's only a personal downfall, is there's a scene when they're in the elevator and she goes, oh, I like the Smiths and stuff like that. No offence to everyone out there. I'm not going to say that they're not a bad band because I think they're hugely influential. Personally, I can't stand the Smiths. Can't stand Morris's voice.
I can't believe you just ding this film for like a character liking the Smiths.
No, nothing like that. No, it's great. They're like Smiths. Smiths are it's part of music English culture. He's got love for, like, he's wearing a Joy Division t-shirt and stuff like that. This is like, he says at the start of the film, you know, he listens to all these songs where they're on about like from British culture. Oh yes, go on Brits. And it's like a good example. Like, I'm not to have the Smiths in your soundtrack and to make reference to how good they are, even though I personally don't like them, shows he knows what he's doing. I mean, he's this guy made music videos. He has Temper Trap, Sweet Disposition played twice throughout the film, and it really elates the mood because it's such, you know, he goes, Sweet Disposition. That.
Is that the track that's playing when they're on the train?
It could well be. It plays twice. So I think it is, yeah, because they have a montage, don't they? Where the coffee. I think you're absolutely right, yeah. Because
that's like one of my favourite scenes in the film when it comes to this, like, they've sat together on the train, they're starting to rekindle themselves, and then it cuts into this little transitional montage, pretty short one, where there is they basically get rid of all the diegetic sound, and they just bring in that track over the top, and then
normally montages are just so cliche, but this worked,
and it's shot tremendously as well. It's like it's orange soaked light pouring through. It's like after you've had this long period of him being down, feeling bad, and you finally get this moment of joy and emphasis on oranges and pleasantries and sun coming back into his life.
Eric Steelberg, well played.
And you kind of know it's going to fuck up again anyway. But it's just a great moment.
And one of the things that emphasises just sincerely how good this soundtrack is Regina fucking Spektor. Fuck yes.
I didn't even notice, isn't it?
Yes, Regina Spektor appears at the start. I think it's the first song you hear.
Okay.
And then my favourite moment of the film, this is the reason I said to you, let's watch Film Club, because I thought, I think it was on Reddit or something, and then it was on about like Regina Spektor. Said, oh yeah, she did the intro to 500, or they said like, this is a great scene of the film. The expectations versus reality.
Oh, that scene's incredible.
Dude, man, that fucking
scene
insane.
Is incredible.
That's insane. Yeah. And they come in, and what song is playing? It's Regina Spektor, and I just found out it's actually a fourth album. I thought it was to first like kind of one via label, Begin to Hope. Great album. Listen to Samsung.
Yeah, another way where he's just saying, we're going to play with the format.
Oh, hugely.
We're going to do two things for quite a long period of time to get to a different point.
And it's amazingly well done.
As it goes on, you start to get more and more like, oh, you feel worse for him.
You do. And that couldn't have been done, I reckon, without the music. And this is Marc Webb knows his shit.
Yeah.
Oh, Marc Webb, sorry. He knows his shit, man. And so you listen to the lyrics of this Regina Spektor song, Hero, and it says, it's coming in and you see this is what's happening. You've got this one side where they're all intimate, and you've got the other side where it's like, fuck, this is, I'm by myself drinking on the edge. He never saw it coming. He's going up the stairs of the party and she's going, he's never saw it coming. No one's got it all. He's going, no one's got it all, like that. And then the best part is when it starts to break down. She's there in the piano going, da-da-da, like Regina Spektor is a superb musician. She's from Russia, she went to the USA, she's class in the piano, she's really good at throwing emotion through a piano and through her voice. She's got this like really soft kind of like chirpy voice sometimes, a bit like kind of like wacky. And then she comes out in these deep emotional bits. And what a better song for me personally is Laughing With. Listen to that, listen to the album Far, but Laughing With, superbly good song. Anyway, Point is, she's doing this, she's on the piano, just building up, and you had that fucking scene where it's all kicking off, and you're like, oh, it couldn't get any worse. And she's saying, I'm the hero of the story, don't need to be saved. Because that's his character, that's Joseph Gordon-Levitt through. He's like, I'm the hero, don't need to be saved. And it's like, mate, you need to be saved. And it's like, he builds up this like crescendo of like emotion. And that's when he goes out and he goes to that kind of palette that, you know, everything's drawn and it's a silhouette. And that is such a good scene. That's arguably, watching it again, I do get elated after watching a film. I still have that thing, you know, I've mentioned a few times. But that could well be one of my favourite top 10 scenes of any film because it's so powerful. There's so much attention to detail, music, the lyrics. Marc Webb has done a sensational job there. He knew exactly what he was doing.
This is absolutely a film where this could have been great on its own if someone had tackled this like a regular film, but instead he elevates it by thinking
That's his
more like a creative filmmaker.
Outside
and injecting,
the box, man.
Yeah, it's outside the box. He's challenging every expectation you have of cinema, but he's doing it in a way which it comes and goes. It's not overbearing. It comes and goes and feeds into a really pleasant narrative. So
I struggle to find bad things about this film.
I couldn't name you. I could, if I really tried, I could name you one, but I'd be nitpicking.
Yeah,
there's no need to nitpick this
Marc
because it's
Webb,
a wonderful
well
film.
fucking played. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Zoe Deschanel, thank you.
And you can let us know in the comments below what you thought of Avengers of the Summer, or you can hit us up on Twitter as well. Next week, what a lovely segue this is, we've gone from Marc Webb doing Amazing Spider-Man, and in honour of Spider-Man Homecoming coming out, we are going to be revisiting Sam Raimi's original Spider-Man.
Maybe because I tried to make a point that I don't think it was as influential, and he got angry, said we're doing Spider-Man.
We'll deal with that next week. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We'll see you all then.
That was a good shot.
Thanks.
Thank you very much for allowing us to walk around. Thank you very much for this episode of Film Club. My name's Andy, and this is my co-host Andy Harrison. This week we're doing 500 days.
You can't remember.